down the middle, intercepted!
15, 10, 5, touchdown, UMass!
What's up, Minutemen faithful, and welcome to the UMass Football Show, our third summer episode of this preseason. I'm Matt Ford-Wellman here with Miles Donato and Aiden Shea. Fellas, you guys are both at day one of this fall camp, August 3rd. What stood out to you guys?
I'll let Shea go first.
Oh, yeah, it was just good to see the whole unit together. We finally got to see all the incoming freshmen together and working in with the rest of the team. Really what stood out to me today, though, was all the tight end, really almost every tight end on the roster made a really big play today, even down to Matthew Tybor, who's a freshman just coming in, the only difference from last year in the tight end group.
Yeah, for me, I think you could see a noticeable difference from spring camp now through being in the weight room for a couple months now, and now some of the players look a little bigger. I think Pop Watson looked a little bigger. We noticed that. I think that the players came out with a decent amount of energy, and it's a long camp. It's a month straight of grueling football, and it'll start to ramp up more, but it was a good start.
Good to hear from the UMass side of things. I'm excited to see the energy, excited to see some of the great play that fall camp can bring, that molding period, building the offense, building the defense. Aiden Shea, you mentioned it, the tight end room is looking very similar aside from, a freshman coming in. A lot of the rooms are not looking very similar. A lot of wide receiver overhaul, T.Y. Harding, the main returner coming back, and then the running back room looking completely different. The running back room in the backfield has looked different a lot of the time here. If you're a UMass fan, you've seen a lot of different running backs work back there. Miles, you were going to take us through some of the history of these running backs. Take it away.
I mean, the main thing that I've noticed from these running back duos over the year is how each year these running backs have gotten, first of all, less carries and less yards per carry over the years. K'Ron Lynch-Adams, Gregory Delosier, amazing backs. Both of them have made NFL rosters during camps. They had 273 carries for 5.3 yards per carry. We run that to Jalen John and CJ Hester, carries dropped to 230. Last year with Hood and Griffin, 151 carries for only 4.1 yards per carry. So over time, the UMass running backs have been getting less touches. I think a lot of that comes with the fact that last season the team was trailing a lot, but it didn't give Brandon Hood and Rocco Griffin the opportunities that previous running backs in the system have gotten. And I think it's going to be important for the UMass offense to have an established run game throughout the season. And I think Justin Williams-Thomas and Jordan Washington could be an answer.
Yeah, Justin Williams-Thomas is going to have to start hot, especially with Washington, returning from a surgery, going to miss the start of the season, but definitely going to come back. Washington's super patient and versatile, and that's all great and dandy. But I think start of the season, UMass is going to need a north-south runner. They're going to need Justin Williams-Thomas to get through the line of scrimmage, to get 4 yards here, 5 yards here, break into the open space and make some things happen. Aiden Shea, one running back cannot do it all. Who is going to have to fill that RB2 slot while Washington gets healthy? And who do you think is going to make a difference in maybe the RB3 slot later down the road?
I think that is definitively Elijah Faulkner right now. I think he provides a good mix of speed and power. He can catch the ball. And while Washington's coming back, Washington is a pretty underrated receiver. He caught 22 passes for 200 yards and a score at Murray State. So to have somebody who can play that third down back role, even if it's not his forte, so to speak, that I think Faulkner is the number one option for filling in for Jordan Washington right now.
I think another name to shout out is grad transfer Curtis Kimmons. He had a strong showing today in his first practice for the Minutemen, and I think he's a guy to watch out for in the early parts of the season.
I think Justin Williams-Thomas is the safety back that was brought in. Coach Simiak and Max Warner wanted someone they could rely on. But I think at some point, and Coach Simiak has alluded to this, you want to play with the shiny new toys. You just got Pop Watson in, who's a definite quarterback upgrade, and the wide receiver room has gotten upgraded as well. Joseph Griffin Jr., a huge addition, and I mean huge in the literal sense, just very, very big human. He's going to be a huge asset. Devin Matthews as well. And then Max Dowling and T.Y. Harding. It's a ton of options that I think the offense has to choose from now. Griffin on the deep ball, the jump ball. Matthews is going to be playing in the slot along with T.Y. and really, really mobile around the field. And then Max Dowling, he's a Swiss Army knife. Guys, how do you think the offensive weapons have really improved? And who do you think out of these three guys on the screen are going to be Pop Watson's main target?
I mean, I think Joseph Griffin Jr. is the name to look out for. They played together in high school, and I think that with these two receivers, the main two receivers in Griffin and T.Y., I think they're two very different styles of receivers. You got Joseph Griffin, who's 6'4", he's a huge receiver. He love a deep ball, jump ball. And then we've got T.Y. Harding, who's a smaller receiver, more shifty, more focused on route running. And I think that's what you need from two main receivers, is two different styles of receivers. It allows Pop to have different options passing the ball.
Shay, you seen anything different?
I wouldn't say anything different. I would just want to add that Devin Matthews could even play on the boundary a little bit too. Because we've seen he does have that burner sort of speed, and we know he can make big plays because he had two touchdown returns on kickoffs, and that's something he could add as well in the special teams game. Really though, I do think it is going to be Joe Griffin, like you said, is going to be the focal point of the passing game. He's going to be where Pop is looking every single time if he can.
I don't want to compare apples to oranges here. Maybe you guys can confirm or deny. I think Devin Matthews is going to be this year's Jaquan Gibson. I think he's going to be very slippery, very versatile. And I think that's going to be very useful for Pop Watson. It's going to be a huge asset for the offense. But just like Jaquan Gibson, I think if other things don't go right, he's not going to get the ball. I think if the offensive line doesn't really protect for the full allotted time, he's not going to get the ball. That's why I think, honestly, Max Dowling and some of these tight ends are going to be, huge assets as scramble players, as guys who can get open in some weak points in the defense and extend plays, turn 3 and outs into first downs. What do you guys make of this returning tight end group offensively, maybe off the ball blocking out in space?
I mean, we saw it in the spring game and how much this offense caters towards the tight ends. It's been very clear since the jump that the tight ends, they're the experienced group, and that's what the priority is going to be during the early parts of the season. A lot of designed plays to get the tight ends in motion off of play action. And I think when you have a group that's as experienced as this tight end group, you got to play to your strengths, and that's what they're doing. And I think it's smart to heavily lean on the tight ends. You have a lot of depth at tight end. It's not like it's one or two guys that are experienced. It's the entire room. The entire room is guys that can make plays.
Jay, who do you think is going to be spiking a ball in the end zone besides Max Dowling, maybe Jax Markovich? Who else is going to be throwing down a spike, scoring a touchdown for the Minutemen?
Honestly, today, who I saw, I think they're going to use Owen Anderson a little bit more. Owen Anderson was making some plays today, and he's that kind of bigger tight end that can block, but also is a pretty good receiver. We've seen in football in the last couple of years teams moving back towards that 2 tight end, 3 tight end personnel and starting to run the ball a little more. So having a bunch of tight ends like this is something that you can rotate these guys in. You can run them in different formations, maybe move them up at fullback, just because you have so many of them. We have 4 or 5 tight ends that we all think are really, really solid players.
I honestly think you really can't go wrong with the tight ends this year. It's going to be very interesting to see how Max Warner works in all of the different ways. We have a video of head coach Joe Simiak kind of talking about all the weapons and how he plans to use them. Let's take a look at that now.
There and Gibbons. What has it been like to have the full squad here?
Yeah, it's been great. I think obviously that was an issue we had. I think just from a depth and talent standpoint, just being able to get guys the ball. I think you see that through Pop. Pop can do a lot of different things. Certainly on the outside now, we missed T.Y. all last year, right? And, we've talked about that. T.Y.'s been hurt since I've been here. I haven't really seen T.Y. play besides 2 quarters. He got in against Iowa in the first quarter, and that's when it was over, right? So him, Joe Griff, if you want to know what they're supposed to look like, they're supposed to look like Joe Griff, right? So now he's got to take this role and take this step and do what he's got to do every day, right, to become the player he wants to be. And then certainly in the running back room, I think that's way more depth than we had last year. I think it starts with JT. You got Faulkner coming back, and then you mentioned Curtis. And then we got Jordan Washington coming back from surgery. So I think those 4 to lead that group. And then I think our 2 talented freshmen are talented. We'll see if they're going to be ready, right? But I like the takes there at running back.
Now let's take a peek at Max Dowling and some of the abilities he can do. Coach Simi didn't mention him in that list of guys there, but I think Max Dowling's going to be Max Warner's favorite tight end. Here we are, UMass versus Missouri, big-time game for the Minutemen last season against an SEC opponent, knocking on the red zone. Look at these cornerbacks in the 3-high look on the strong side. It's a zone coverage, easy as that. And this middle defender, supposed to cover the middle of the field, he gets fooled by Donnie Gray and heads right towards the boundary where that outside linebacker is supposed to be. Dowling takes up the middle of the field between those hashes and makes a great play on a great ball in a great moment in time in the first quarter where a big play is really needed. Receives the fire from Harrison, goes down in the red zone, uses the blown up play for a huge explosion for the Minutemen. Again in this drive in the red zone, flashes the hands. What a great play there. I formation, definitely a run look. Defense bites on it. And Dowling makes a great play with the hands. This is the only 6 points UMass scored that game and the only 2 catches Dowling had in that game. Definitely a shame he didn't get used more, but he did get used in this Bowling Green game, down 28-7. Inside look on the short side, cuts behind his defenders and finds the open space once again. I think this is how Max Warner's going to use Dowling against his former team of 2 years ago. I think Dowling's going to be used to get into space, kind of as a quarterback read option. He's going to be versatile, blocking downfield on RPOs, just an overall really strong player. And I think based on that film alone, he's somebody you really can't ignore and someone you need to get the ball in those long third downs. I think he's going to be super useful. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think he's going to be super important over the middle of the field and obviously in the run game, like you said, but over the middle, he's going to be that giant safety blanket that can just grab it over a linebacker's head for you. And for a, let's be honest, a little bit shorter of a quarterback and Pop, someone like that over the middle that you can just rely on as a 60% 50-50 ball guy. That's so important.
Miles, how do you think this tight end room specifically is going to work in favor of the running backs? How do you think it's going to help these guys in the backfield extend plays and make those big plays happen?
Yeah, this is a big tight end room. We've got 260, 250, 260, 250, 260, 210, 235, and 260. These are some big boys. They can help clear some space up in the offensive line for the offensive linemen. I think if you get some of them pulling, you get some counters going with the tight ends, I think that's a great way to help the running backs, especially a running back like Justin Williams-Thomas, who if you give him that little bit of space and you allow him to get one-on-one with a player, force a guy to try and make a tackle on him, try and stop him, Justin Williams-Thomas is taking himself in that situation. And I think using the tight ends to kick out blockers, kick out rushers, is a crucial part of the run game for the Minutemen.
Yeah, this offensive line and this tight end room really holds the ceiling for Justin Williams-Thomas and some of these other running backs. Let's kick it over to our colleague Zeke Altman with Justin Williams-Thomas for an update on how the senior is settling into UMass Amherst and where he sees himself fitting into this UMass offense. Take it away, Zeke.
With Justin Williams-Thomas. Justin, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. How's the summer been?
Pretty good. We've been working hard. It's been amazing since I've been here, so we're looking forward to the season.
Now, you were at Marshall. You've been at a couple of other schools. How's the adjustments been at UMass for you?
It's been pretty good. I feel like the coaching staff did a great job kind of easing me and everything, showing me the ropes. Guys in the building like Tyler Martin, T.Y., all those guys, kind of show me the ropes coming in here. So, I mean, transition for me has been awesome. Guys did a pretty good job of just, showing me how things work and helping me learn how to be a leader and stuff like that. So it's been really good since I've been here.
Now, there's been a lot of change in the running back room. Obviously, you had guys like Rocco Griffin last year, but now you, Jordan, and then a couple new freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
How's that room looking for this season?
I'll say, man, that room is special. We have a lot of talented guys in the room. I feel like we all help each other get better each day. From Jordan, TK, Justin, Ricky, Curtis, all those guys, Day-Day, all those guys, I feel like all those guys do a great job. We push each other. We work hard every day. Elijah too, we all push each other to work. And I'm honestly very blessed to be here, very blessed to be with those guys. I feel like they helped me become a better person, not only on the field, but off the field as well. So it's been great working here with these guys.
Coach Larkin, what's he like as a coach?
Great guy, very detailed. Love the guy. He knows what he's talking about. Pushes us. Make sure we're working hard every day. He's kind of just one of those coaches. He wants us to do right, and he's gonna make sure we have everything that we need, to be successful. So I feel like he's a really good coach, and I'm really glad to be here playing for him.
Justin, you've been at some big schools. What's kind of different about UMass compared to the Cals of the world, the Marshalls of the world?
I wouldn't say there's a big difference. I feel like UMass has everything that I need in terms of facility, players, coaches. Only thing that I would probably say the biggest difference is maybe the stadium, but we have everything that we need, great players, great coaches, and great staff. So I don't really feel like there's that big of a difference. I know people kind of automatically assume that there's a big difference because, I was playing at a Power 4 school before that and before this, but honestly, I feel like UMass has everything I need. Honestly, it's probably more, you know what I mean? So they have to have everything that you need to be successful on and off the field. So,
obviously, you're one of the new transfers. Tell UMass fans what's the best part of your game? How do you play the game on an everyday basis?
Honestly, I'll say the best part of my game is just me helping the team win in any way possible. Honestly, I'll say special teams, running the ball, catching the ball, blocking. Any way I can contribute, no matter how small or how little, I feel like that's my biggest thing. I feel like I just will lead in anywhere and try to make an impact, no matter how small or how big it is.
How excited are you for the season?
I'm excited. I know a lot of people, kind of doubted us, but I feel like I'm here with a special group of guys, special coach, so I feel like we're looking forward to a really good season.
What's your biggest value as a person?
I feel like this year for me, I feel like I did a way better job at leading, becoming way more vocal. That was a big point of me coming here, is being a leader, being more vocal and kind of taking control of certain things. And I feel like me coming here and guys like Tyler Martin, Timmy, T.Y., those guys helped me learn the ropes and learn how to become a better leader. So that's just been my biggest thing, just trying to help guys. I'm an older guy in the room now, so I'm having to help those guys kind of, learn different ropes and stuff like that, because, I've been in college for a little while. So, my biggest thing is just trying to lead these guys and, just like I said, help any way possible.
Now, going back to where you came from, you are Dallas born. You're from Texas. Do you have any Cowboy idols that you grew up watching or like, or are you not a Cowboys fan?
Honestly, I'm going to check you right here. I'm actually from Dallas, Georgia. A lot of people.
Oh, my goodness.
A lot of people actually say that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's okay, though. It's no big deal. Everybody always says I'm from Dallas, Texas. But I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a Falcons fan. I know a lot of people always see the Dallas and they think Texas, but I'm from Dallas, Georgia.
Wow. Hopefully I don't get exposed here for that
You're
one.
good, man.
In terms of this team, there's a lot of new people that the fans don't know, that some of us don't know, but who's a dark horse that you're looking at that isn't you, that you really think is going to be a force next season?
Honestly, I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm just going to tell the world just to be ready for us as a group. I feel like every guy that we brought in here is going to contribute in some form or some fashion. I feel like we have a lot of guys, that have potential to be really special. Honestly, I think this team is very, 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 very special, and they're going to see this fall when we, step on that field for our first game how talented this team really is. I feel like I said, Coach Warner, Coach H, did a great job of, bringing in guys for this team that's going to help. So there's going to be a lot of faces out there that's going to be making plays.
Biggest hobby off the field?
Honestly, like I said, I honestly just like to ride around in my truck and just listen to music, just kind of chill. I'm just kind of like chill, laid back kind of guy. I don't do too much, just try to, make the most of my time and just kind of enjoy nature a little bit. So.
Okay, nature, trucks, I like it.
Yeah.
Justin Williams Thomas.
Having played at Marshall, Cal Berkeley, Tennessee, Williams Thomas is definitely apt to bring some depth and experience to the Minuteman backfield. But most importantly, hopefully, for Minuteman fans, score points. It's been something that UMass has really avoided doing the past 2 seasons. 11.8 points per game last year, 247.5 yards per game. That's last in FBS if you're not counting North Dakota State, who just entered the FBS level this past year. Guys, I feel like my question is pretty plain and simple. Who on this team is going to help UMass score more points, something they have failed to do a lot these previous seasons?
I think I'll let you go, Tar. Or Shay.
I think it all comes down to, obviously we've spent all this time talking about the weapons, but it really comes down to the offensive line. If they're going to be able to allow them to do anything really at all, they need the offensive line to hold up for more than 2 seconds and give Pop time to throw something downfield or to just open up a hole for Justin Williams-Thomas. It's really that simple. The better the offensive line plays, the better the offense will be.
Maybe I shouldn't have let you go because you stole my answer. I think having a receiving option or multiple receiving options also in the tight ends, but Joseph Griffin Jr. is who I'm mentioning. Having a red zone receiving option hasn't really been something that the Minutemen have had. I think they've tried to work the ball in through the run game, and it's not been successful at times. And having options like the tight end room, off play action, and then fades to Joseph Griffin Jr., those are 2 very solid options. I think I'd take Joseph Griffin Jr. to come down with the ball if you throw him a ball 70% of the time. I think he's going to be a strong option in the red zone for the Minutemen.
Well, this UMass offense has undoubtedly gotten a whole lot better, and I'm extremely excited to see how they perform on the field. I know UMass fans are itching for September 3rd, Rutgers game 1. Thank you, everybody, for watching the UMass Football Show on YouTube with 91.1 WMUA Sports. Please like, subscribe, and follow us on X and Instagram at WMUA Sports. And check out our next episode next Wednesday.